Good morning, Raiders. Today we are going to take a look at Survival Hunter Phase 2 BiS and what is actually attainable versus what's not early in Phase 2. In my opinion, out of the 16 slots of gear, only 6 slots are actually attainable BiS versus the other 10 slots are you having to contend with second or third BiS until your raid is ready or capable of taking down those hard modes. I apologize in advance for the rather lengthy video, but I think there is some really good information in here for survival hunters. As always, if you find this information helpful, please like and subscribe, and feel free to comment on any videos you would like me to make in the future regarding Ulduar or hunters. Now, this guide isn't intended for those top 5% guilds who will be going into Ulduar clearing all hard modes to include Algalon in week 1. Those guilds will have no issues getting these hard to obtain items. This guide is more for those guilds who may only raid one night a week. Maybe they raid two, but they are progressing on one hard mode per week as they funnel gear into their raid team lockout after lockout. With Algalon having only a 1 hour lockout timer, it will be some time before average guilds get the number of wipes under their belt necessary to learn the fight to actually down the encounter. Think back to TBC with SSC and TK. Many guilds were just content killing 8 of 10 before they nerfed SSC and TK. I imagine Algalon will be much of the same until raid teams can get the gear necessary. With that being said, let's jump right into it. So this image shows our Phase 2 BiS. The red squares indicate that these will likely not be obtainable for at least the first 3 to 4 weeks, if not more, for the average guilds. The green boxes indicate these are obtainable week 1 of raiding. Starting with the Helm, Boundless Gaze drops off of Algalon 25-man hard mode and will not be obtainable for some time. A good second option is a Shoulder tier token, which can be purchased for 60 Emblems of Conquest. That is totally obtainable in 2 or 3 weeks depending on how well you save your Emblems of Conquest, or it also drops from Thorin 25-man mode. If you're looking to spend badges elsewhere, picking up the Helm of the Furnace Master from Ignis might not be a bad option, giving you some leeway on how to spend your initial Emblems of Conquest in the early weeks of Phase 2. Circlet of True Sight is not a bad option from Iron Council hard mode on 10-man, which is absolutely doable week 1, especially if you need the hit rating. Moving on to the neck. Our BiS neck comes from General Vezak's hard mode. It's not a completely out of the reach hard mode, and with some gear from Ulduar, a couple kills in normal mode to learn the mechanics, I think most guilds will be capable of killing Vezak's hard mode after a few weeks. Until then, you can get your second BiS neck, Brooch of the Wailing Knight, from just 19 Emblems of Conquest. In my opinion, I'm not a fan of the Seed of Budding Carnage from Freya hard mode because at this point we should have plenty of hit, and I prefer crit over hit. If you're still rocking a Fool's Trial or something of that nature, then yes, Seed of Budding Carnage is a good upgrade for you, and you can save those 19 emblems towards your helm. Next is the shoulders. Our BiS is Mantle of Fiery Vengeance, which drops from 10-man Flamed Leviathan hard mode. Another hard mode that isn't out of the reach. It is definitely a tough hard mode and requires all the raiders to know what is going on and efficient use of the vehicle abilities. But in a few weeks, with the increased item level gear, this should be obtainable. While you're waiting for this to drop, tier shoulders from Yogg-Saron are not a bad choice, or the Shoulders of Misfortune, which drops off of Trash in 25-man mode. For your cloak piece, Drape of the Faceless General, which drops off of General Vezak's hard mode in 10-man, is definitely obtainable week 1. I wouldn't hold my breath for Drape of Icy Intent, which drops off of Hodier hard mode in 25-man, which is a very difficult hard mode in my opinion for average guilds, because it involves all 25 raiders knowing exactly what to do at what time, managing their buffs and DPS. For your chest piece, Embrace of the Gladiator drops off of Thorim hard mode in 25-man, and is one of the easiest hard modes in Ulduar, and is obtainable for average guilds week 1. In my opinion, the second and third chest pieces don't even come close to the Embrace of the Gladiator, so get what you can until this drops, but if this drops, do not miss your opportunity to get this chest piece, as it is a huge DPS increase, and it's definitely worthwhile. Our BiS Fluxing Energy Coils drops from 10-man XT hard mode. This fight is still a huge DPS check. has a learning curve and requires a good raid comp with raid-wide defensive cooldowns. Some raid teams might be able to get this down with enough attempts, but overall, most average raids will likely just kill this normal mode. Frostbound Chain Bracers drops from Hordier normal mode, which is a very easy boss fight, and we should definitely look to secure this while we get geared enough to kill XT hard mode on 10 man. Gloves of the Steady Hand will likely not be available for a very long time. Even with the XT nerf, this is still a very challenging hard mode requiring a big DPS check, especially if you're unlucky on drops in Ulduar the first few weeks to increase your DPS. This hard mode will likely have to wait a while. Our second best tier gloves is totally obtainable from Memoron 25-man normal mode. If you have a lot of emblems of conquests, then I think the gloves of Unerring Aim from the emblem vendor is a good option as well, especially if these tokens are going to your prot warrior or shamans early on in your raids. Soul Devouring Cinch is our BiS waste that drops from Yogg-Saron 1 light in 10 man and is totally obtainable week 1. If you are just having bad luck and don't see it, the crafting recipe that drops off of Trash, Death Warmed Belt, isn't a bad choice depending on the prices of ruined orbs on your server. Similar to the waist, our BiS legs drops from Yogg plus 1 light and 25-man hard mode, and once again is totally doable week 1. If you can't get these to drop, I personally wouldn't waste Emblems of Conquest on tier legs, because I think the Saronite mesh leg guards are also a very good option from Razor Scale. Our BiS boots, Greaves of Swift Vengeance, drops from Iron Council hard mode and will likely be 2 or 3 weeks until your guild can get this down. The Boots of Living Scale are not a bad option, which is craftable and the recipe drops from Trash and Ulduar. I wouldn't try to get tempered Mercury Greaves anytime soon, because Memoron 10-man hard mode is a very challenging hard mode, but Brass Line Boots from XT 25-man normal mode is achievable. Moving on to our rings. Both of our rings drop from 10 and 25-man Algalon. Once again, not happening anytime soon for average guilds. Loop of the Agile and Band of Lights are also difficult to obtain early on. We will have to settle for Metallic Loop of the Sufferer and Cinder Shard Ring for the time being until we can get geared enough to kill Iron Council hard mode or Algalon 10-man. Next up is trinkets. We catch a break here with Dark Moon card Greatness still being very viable in Phase 2. Dark Matter once again drops from Algalon 10-man and will be some time before we can kill that. Fortunately, Mural Runestone is an excellent alternative, which comes from an easy hard mode, Thorum in 10-man. Unfortunately, this will be a very contested trinket by many DPS classes. I wish you the best of luck in getting this trinket, as it is really our only option to upgrade from Grim Toll. For two-handed weapons, Dreambinder is obtainable from Freya 25-man normal mode and should be our go-to two-hander. Lotrafen from Vezak's 25-man normal mode is our only real viable alternative, as Stormroom Edge drops from Iron Council hard mode. Dark Edge of Depravity is a good alternative too, as it drops from Yogg plus 1 light and can be obtained week 1 as well. However, I foresee that Dark Edge of Depravity being highly contested. Finally, Skyforge Crossbow is our BiS weapon, which thankfully drops from Thorum hard mode, completely viable week 1. If your guild isn't focusing on doing Thorum hard mode anytime soon, I would look to get your hands on Siren's Cry or Giant's Bane that drops from Oriah and Kologarn in 25-man respectively. Sorry for the long video everyone, but I hope this really helped put things in perspective for survival hunters and helps you decide what you should be going after in the early phases of Ulduar to boost your DPS to enable your raid team to actually clear the harder hard modes. Thanks for watching everyone, and see you guys next time.